So in this one, we're going to be looking at the S2 criteria. So how do we actually achieve substantiation? So one of the things that we need to get our heads around is that having a piece of evidence is important for all of your statements, but that evidence is not just substantiation. How you use that evidence, how you reference it, and how you bring sources together, they all sit within that S2 criteria as well. So for example, if we look at the source from before, we can see that this student used a range of different resources. So we had things like the first-hand experiences from carers, we had documentaries and educational pamphlets, we had a range of different resources who are named specifically. And then on top of that, we have their impact. As we go through, the student then uses these resources to justify their information. And so this student uses a kind of traditional structure in that they introduce the source first. The pros of this is that when you introduce your source, you allow your reader or viewer or whatever to understand why you've selected that one. So for example, I can see that they have information provided by Dementia Australia. Now, they have inferred to me that the people who produced this pamphlet, Dementia Australia, are likely to be well informed and they're likely to be a credible resource. We then have an article by the Alzheimer's Association. So again, I'm looking at that source and I'm going, the student is defining Alzheimer's and they've got someone from dementia and someone from Alzheimer's and they're big associations. It looks pretty legit. We then have another resource, Dr. Timothy Legg, a geriatric and family health practitioner. So if this student had just said Dr. Timothy Legg, I would be like, yep, they're pretty legit. They're a doctor. They probably know what they're doing. But then they've given me this little epitaph that like helps me to understand what they've got in relevance to this topic. So geriatric means old. So they are a doctor who works with old people. Alzheimer's is a disease of old people. So now I'm thinking, yeah, this is good. I want to hear what he has to say about this. That is, I guess, part one, selecting a good resource and introducing them to us. Part two is then actually referencing it. Now, this student has made some mistakes with their referencing, and that's why I wanted to show you, because the student still got a really good grade, because the mistakes weren't impeding on the quality, I guess. So, references should be at the end of the sentence. Intakes references go within the sentence with a full stop at the end. Footnotes have a full stop, then the little number. It's stuff that we can help you learn later. But you'll notice that this student has referenced every single time they use a quote or an idea. In this one, it's a direct quote. That is a specific quote that is from that source. Whereas in this section, this is just information that they got from Alzheimer's Association. So it's paraphrased, it's summarized, it's brought together in a sentence, but it is referenced because it's not the student's own words or ideas. They had to get that from somewhere. The other thing is that we have a range of sources. We've got dementia, Alzheimer's, and we've got Legg. So we've got 3 sources within one paragraph. That is an important part of this because you have to be able to show that it's not just one person who thinks this, but lots of different sources. The other thing is you'll notice this student refers to figures, and this is important because it tells us to look over here. So they're using diagrams and screenshots to support their argument. This is another form of substantiation. You'll notice as well that they've started to design some diagrams, and these diagrams are important because they are another way of substantiating the information. Sounds pretty good.